Vivian, my sister-in-law, claimed to be a devoted follower of nature, believing everything should run its natural course. She wanted to take 3-year-old Lily to bathe in the cold river water. I vehemently objected, arguing the river was too cold and the water quality poor, unhealthy for a child. Only then did she relent. When a strong wind storm approached, I insisted on reinforcing the windows, but Vivian wanted to take Lily out into the wind. "You don't understand nature's ways," she chided. "Defying nature never ends well." I held Lily tightly, refusing to let go, which finally made Vivian give up. But I never imagined that after that fierce storm, our entire family would fall gravely ill. Vivian immediately blamed me for everything, claiming my defiance of nature had angered the heavens. The whole family forced me to die to atone for my sins. It turned out Vivian resented me for thwarting her and had deliberately poisoned the family's food. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the moment Lily was just born. In this life, I wouldn't just coldly stand by, I would add fuel to the fire. The icy cold still in my veins, the lingering grime of my past life clinging to me, confirmed that I had truly been reborn. "Oh, my darling little niece is absolutely adorable," Vivian's voice rang out, sending a shiver down my spine, fear seizing my heart. To prevent her from noticing anything amiss, I smiled and offered a red envelope. "Of course, Vivian, she's my own beloved niece, after all." Watching my sister-in-law greedily count the money in the envelope, a cold smile formed on my lips. In this life, I would never again prioritize so-called family bonds. If she wanted to follow nature, then I would just wait and see how she pushed herself to her own demise. "Why is her jaundice not going away? Maybe we should take her out for some sunbathing." Lily had congenital jaundice, and the doctor said a few days of blue light therapy in the hospital would cure it. But Vivian stubbornly insisted that all artificial light emitted radiation, except for natural sunlight. I genuinely advised her, only to be scolded and suspected of malicious intent. In my previous life, I had ultimately died from the poisoned rice bowl handed to me by Vivian herself. This time I wouldn't be so foolish. I said nothing. Grandma Rose saw my silence and spoke up. "This isn't too serious. A few days of blue light therapy should almost completely cure it." Vivian's expression changed, just as I predicted. I immediately chimed in, siding with her. "Oh, Grandma, you don't understand. Sunlight and blue light have the same effect. But how can something artificial compare to nature's gifts? Plus, sunbathing is free. How wonderful. Many people online say their babies were cured of jaundice just by sunbathing." A radiant smile bloomed on Vivian's face. "Your words are always so sensible, Alice." As she spoke, she stripped Lily naked and laid her out on the balcony to sunbathe. I stood beside her, pretending to praise her. "You're truly smart, Vivian. You've saved the whole family a lot of money." While I said that, seeing Lily lying naked on the balcony without any eye protection made me terribly uneasy. An infant's eyesight isn't fully developed. Direct sunlight could cause severe damage. Even though it was only April and the weather wasn't too hot, the midday sun was still very harsh. I couldn't help but break out in a cold sweat, worrying for Lily. A short while later, Lily started kicking her legs frantically. Her cries turned into wails, and her already flushed face turned even redder. Her crying was so loud that even my heart began to soften, yet I couldn't voice any opinions. Grandma Rose asked Vivian, "Vivian, is it all right to sunbathe her like this? The child is crying so much. Maybe console her first and continue sunbathing later." Vivian quickly stopped Grandma. "Don't worry, Grandma. Absolutely nothing will happen. She's crying because the toxins are being forced out by the sunlight. Wait until the sun sets, then bring her in." Grandma Rose looked skeptical, standing there watching Lily on the balcony, visibly reluctant. Lily's cries grew louder and louder, while Vivian grew increasingly delighted. She even took out her phone to record a video. "Infant jaundice needs no blue light therapy at all. Sunbathing cures it." I just rolled my eyes, unsure whether to call her ignorant or utterly foolish. In such strong sun, even a piece of pork would be cooked through in 2 hours, let alone a newborn baby of just a few days. "This is a sign that her body is fighting off a virus," Vivian said, noticing Grandma Rose's worried expression, and continued to chatter endlessly. "This is exactly how it shows." I couldn't continue to stand by idly and watch Lily suffer. Seizing the moment Vivian wasn't looking, I pinched Lily's thigh, hoping her intensified cries would make the neighbors, currently on their lunch break, take notice. Sure enough, not long after, complaints began flooding the condominium residents' group chat. Whose child is crying so terribly at midday? Isn't anyone looking after them? My child just fell asleep after being comforted all day. Now they're awake and crying because of that noise. Can't people have some community spirit? Did the adults go out and leave their child home alone? Someone tracked the crying, found Lily lying naked in a crib on the balcony, and posted pictures online. Oh my God, how heartless. Stripping a child naked to sunbathe her? Aren't they afraid the sun will kill her? At condo management, please intervene. Otherwise, I'm calling the police. It's the weekend, isn't it? Condo management, they'll take forever to get here. It's the weekend, they're not working. I've already called the police. Wait a bit, I'll go with them to that apartment. I need to see what kind of people live there. Meanwhile, Vivian, the culprit herself, was sound asleep, completely oblivious to what was happening. Less than half an hour later, Vivian was woken by a knock at the door. She grumbled, rubbed her eyes, and opened it. Who is it? I also pretended to have just woken up, stepping out from the bedroom. Vivian opened the door and froze when she saw the police. Someone reported you for child abuse and disturbing public order. Please cooperate with our inspection, the female officer said. Child abuse? This is treatment. Vivian, who hated being contradicted, argued loudly. My child has infant jaundice, and sunbathing is the best treatment. But the female officer didn't bother to listen to her explanation, walked straight to the balcony, picked up the sobbing Lily, and began to comfort her. The baby is scorching hot. What kind of parent are you? How dare you leave a child to sunbathe in this midday heat for hours? The female officer's voice was very serious. She was clearly a mother herself, with eyes full of pity. I'm telling you, your treatment method is completely wrong, she stated. An infant's eyesight isn't fully developed. Strong light like this can easily damage their eyes. Take your child to the hospital immediately. Any delay and it might be too late. Grandma Rose, hearing the argument, rushed out and took Lily from the officer's arms. All right, we'll take her to the hospital right away. Please don't arrest my daughter-in-law. Vivian's face was sour, as if she was annoyed at the police for being busybodies, and she glared openly. Grandma Rose gave an embarrassed, forced smile, saw the police out, then reluctantly dragged Vivian to the hospital. How absurd to leave a newborn to sunbathe at midday like that. Luckily, she was brought in just in time. A few more days and it would have been life-threatening. Lily had to be hospitalized for several days. Ethan angrily reprimanded Vivian several times. This incident cost a considerable amount of money and turned the whole family upside down. Despite everything, Lily's eyesight couldn't be fully salvaged, meaning she would have to wear 8 diopter glasses from kindergarten. Grandma Rose also lost patience with Vivian, often making sarcastic, veiled remarks. Vivian seemed to realize her mistake. Her temper softened, and she dared not argue with family members. But I knew Vivian still harbored many schemes, just waiting for an opportunity to inflict them upon Lily. Recently, Vivian had been busy with something every day, taking Lily out from early morning until late evening. Occasionally, I secretly asked Lily where she went, and she would smile happily. We went swimming. Summer had just arrived, and indeed, many people were going swimming. I didn't pay much attention, only found it strange when Vivian's temperament had changed. Until one day, when only I was left at home, the police knocked on the door again. Is this the home of Lily? The officer sighed and said, Today we received a report from the kindergarten. The teachers there said that Lily suffered from vaginitis with discharge and itching in her private parts, and she kept scratching constantly. The teachers took this very seriously, suspecting child molestation, which is why they reported it. We are here to investigate. Molestation. My first reaction was to look towards Vivian. Could she really be that audacious? Our female officer has taken little Lily for a medical examination, and the results show it was due to bacteria from poor personal hygiene. Lily said her mother often takes her swimming in a small pond on the city's outskirts. This pond had stagnant water, and its bacterial count exceeded permissible levels. She likely contracted an infection while swimming. At this, Grandma Rose shot up from her seat. Vivian, our family isn't short on money for swimming passes, so why would you take Lily to swim in such a dirty place? Grandma Rose was truly pained for Lily. After all, she was still family by blood. But Vivian showed great annoyance and coldly said, You don't understand, Grandma. This is so Lily can have more contact with nature. Pool water is dead water, chemically treated tap water. The chlorine content in it exceeds standards. For profit, those places don't even change the water, they just use chemicals to filter impurities. It's not good for a child's health. Ethan couldn't take it anymore. He tried to suppress his anger and said, "At least the water in a swimming pool wouldn't make your daughter sick." Vivian argued back stubbornly, "You don't understand anything." This incident was too serious. I couldn't remain silent any longer. I had originally thought that if the family lived in harmony, everything would be fine. But now I understood clearly. If Vivian remained near Lily, the child would suffer endlessly. Even Ethan, who was usually so afraid of his wife, began to get angry. I spoke directly. "Ethan, I advise you to get a divorce. If this continues, who knows how many more hardships Lily will suffer. How can you bear to watch your own child be tormented to death?" Vivian flew into a rage when she heard me say that. "What do you mean? Are you trying to cause a divorce right in front of me? Just because you people don't understand nature doesn't mean I don't. I don't want to talk anymore. Do you believe I won't slap you?" With that, she lunged at me. I didn't dodge. I even offered my face. The slap made me dizzy, but it didn't hurt as much as what I had endured in my previous life. I deliberately provoked her. "Did you think I didn't know? When something happened to Lily, you didn't plan to take her to the hospital, did you? You planned to handle it yourself, right?" I had seen the doctor tending to Vivian several times, and she always watched very intently. I thought she was finally starting to care, but it turned out she was learning how to replace antiseptic on bandages with tap water later. My heart trembled. I absolutely couldn't let the tragedy repeat. The moment I finished speaking, Vivian burst into a fit of rage. "Yes, I didn't plan to take her to the hospital, so what? What's the big deal? Why go to that place full of viruses? I'm her mother. Don't I want my own child to be healthy? You people are always trying to harm my child." With that, she lunged at me, trying to strangle me. Just then, Ethan slapped Vivian squarely across the face. "That's enough. We're getting a divorce." Vivian, dazed, clutched her face and sobbed. Seeing no one in the house siding with her, she finally began to worry. "What do you mean, all of you? I did everything for my child. Lily has been physically weak since birth. What's wrong with having more contact with nature? You just know how to make money all day. Have you ever cared for your child? If it weren't for you, Lily wouldn't be sick." Hearing her words, my entire family was stunned into silence. Ethan was trembling with rage. Who exactly was it who exposed Lily to the midday sun, causing her to wear 8 diopter glasses before even starting kindergarten? "Do you think I don't love my child? In this house, you're the only one who has no right to say that." Tears streamed down Vivian's cheeks, as if she had suffered a great injustice. "Divorce then, divorce? I'd like to see if you can find anyone better than me." The divorce was temporarily put on hold. Just then, the Meteorological Bureau issued a new warning: a strong wind advisory. Grandma Rose worried for Lily, fearing Vivian would leave home with nowhere to go, wandering with a child in dangerous weather. Ethan also felt he had spoken too harshly that day and wanted to give them another chance. But only I knew that in Vivian's eyes, this wasn't an expression of our family's love for her, but rather that we had lost this battle to her. A person like her fundamentally doesn't know when to stop. She only knows how to exploit emotions to threaten others and then push further. After receiving the warning, I immediately went online to search for related videos and forwarded them all to the family group chat. Grandma Rose, being elderly, always believed everything she read online. Ethan was busy and wanted to leave all household decisions to me. Vivian, however, disdained it all. "All this stuff is just scams," she scoffed. "No matter how strong the wind, it's just nature punishing humanity. What good ever comes from defying nature?" I was too lazy to argue with her. I just wanted to save my own life. I hastily hired people to reinforce the windows that night, but Vivian stopped them all. "You're just wasting money," she snapped. "Don't think that just because you're getting a divorce with your brother, I don't have the right to manage things in this house. You didn't earn this family's money, so why are you spending it so carelessly?" I was so angry I wanted to roll my eyes to the heavens. "If you're sick, go get treatment. You might not care about your life, but I want to live." But Vivian wouldn't listen to me. Even the workers I had paid a high price to call were directly chased out. "How dare you come into my house without my permission? You're trespassing, you know that? Let me tell you, my name is on the deed. Without my agreement, anyone who dares to enter, I'll call the police to arrest them all." The 2 workers exchanged glances. No one dared to get involved in this mess, and they quickly retreated. Under Vivian's persuasion, Grandma Rose also began to waver. "Vivian," she said, "what your sister-in-law says is true. There hasn't been a storm like this in years, has there? Why would it be our turn this time? Nobody else is reinforcing their windows. Are we overreacting?" My expression grew darker. Grandma Rose seemed to realize I was unhappy and lowered her voice. And your sister-in-law just made a concession, agreeing to stay with your brother. Don't we all want Lily to have a complete family? Your father passed away early. You and your brother have already endured so much scrutiny. Do you want this to happen to Lily? Everyone in the family was good-hearted and soft, only I was the villain, concerned only with tearing them apart. All right, I conceded. I'll just ignore everything. Hearing me say that, a smile bloomed on Vivian's face. Happily, she opened the weather app, planning to find a day with strong winds to take Lily out to experience the beauty of nature. I quietly packed a few items, preparing to move into the basement for a few days, but I told no one about this. I just wanted to see how they would push themselves to their own demise. Finally, the day of the strong wind warning arrived. Early in the morning, I was woken by the howling wind outside. Looking through the window, trees were snapped by the wind, branches and leaves scattered everywhere. The signboards of the shops below the apartment complex had also been torn down by the wind. The immense power of the wind was evident. Through my bedroom door, I clearly heard Vivian joyfully shout, "Hurry and get dressed. Once you're ready, Mama will take you out to play." "Yes, Mama," Lily's voice echoed. Through the crack in the door, I saw Lily had put on her top, but her pants were askew before Vivian dragged her out of the house. Waiting for the elevator, I immediately got up, grabbed my pre-packed belongings, and stepped out of the house. The window of my basement apartment looked directly out onto the main unit's entrance, visible to anyone going downstairs. I stood there, silently watching Vivian lead Lily outside, then release her hand. Lily had no idea how strong the wind outside was. Vivian's hair was whipped around by the wind, lashing her face. Lily, weighing just over 20 kg, couldn't stand steadily in the level 7 wind. Vivian let go, and Lily was instantly pushed sideways by the wind, arms flailing as she tried to balance. From my vantage point through the glass window, Lily looked truly pitiful. I took out my phone and aimed my camera at Lily outside. Vivian's voice, carried on the wind, sounded even more terrifying. "Stand firm. You're scared of just a bit of wind like this. Only through nature's tempering can your eyes be cured." The more I listened, the more absurd it seemed. How could a 3-year-old understand Vivian's words? Lily just tottered towards her mother, hoping to awaken some faint maternal affection. I clearly saw her blocked by the wind, unable to advance, and burst into uncontrollable sobs. Vivian, showing annoyance, pushed her hair back and yelled even more fiercely, "Get out! Stay away from me!" Lily didn't understand. She didn't know why the mother who had once been gentle with her had become like this. Scared stiff, little Lily stood frozen, unsure what to do, but the instinctual longing for her mother's love pushed her forward. Vivian immediately flew into a rage. "I told you to stay put. Why are you still coming towards me? You really are a disobedient child." I immediately raised my phone higher to film. Suddenly, Vivian forcefully shoved Lily. Lily was already unsteady from the strong wind, and that push, like adding fuel to the fire, made her lose balance and tumble to the ground. The wind grew stronger, tree branches swayed violently, their shadows on the ground like monsters trying to swallow everything. Little Lily was swept away by the wind. All she could do was scream, "Mama, Mama." Her heartbreaking screams were so piercing that anyone who heard them would be shaken. From my vantage point, in a window of the apartment opposite, 2 figures were looking this way. It seemed they had heard Lily's cries for help. Vivian simply stood there, watching Lily being swept away by the wind without any reaction. Since my rebirth, I had always wondered, was Lily truly Vivian's biological child? How could a mother inflict so many absurd and cruel things upon her own flesh and blood? Lily tried her best to cling to the trunk of a nearby tree. She wailed, "Mama, Mama, save me." Right next to the tree was a traditional Chinese medicine shop. The signboard high above swayed violently in the wind. That signboard was made of real wood to convey its prestige. If it fell, it would surely crush Lily. Her life wouldn't be saved. I began to feel anxious. If Vivian truly didn't save Lily, wouldn't I indirectly be responsible for a life? Sure enough, I guessed correctly. The stronger the signboard swayed, the deeper Vivian's smile grew. My hand holding the phone also began to tremble. Her smile sent a chill down my spine. Finally, someone couldn't bear it any longer. The person who had been secretly looking from the first-floor window immediately ran out of the building. Crash, the sound of the signboard falling. I closed my eyes, not daring to look. It was too late. Even if I ran out now, it wouldn't be in time. But immediately after, a voice rang out. Mama, I'm so scared. It was Lily's voice. How could that be? That signboard weighed at least tens of kilograms. How could Lily still be intact, even having the strength to call for help if it fell on her? I opened my eyes. A figure was holding Lily tightly, trembling with fear. Vivian and I were both stunned. How was this possible? Why did Vivian have that expression? Could it be that she wasn't foolish at all, but truly intended to push Lily to her death? I remained motionless in the basement, wanting to see what would happen next. Vivian ran over, pulled Lily away from the signboard, and hugged her tightly. Who told you to run around? Why are you so disobedient? Before Lily could explain, Vivian slapped her on the head. Lily screamed in pain and fright. No, that wasn't right. She did that to prevent Lily from speaking, to deny her any chance to explain or reveal the truth. Even though the basement was warm, goosebumps erupted on my skin. This woman was not at all whom I had imagined her to be before. The person who saved Lily was still curled up under the signboard, moaning incessantly, but Vivian immediately carried Lily straight away, without even glancing back, and headed straight back to our unit. The person from the other apartment had also witnessed the entire incident. Someone ran out, holding their phone and saying something, seemingly calling the police. I immediately saved the video. I made multiple copies, storing them on 2 phones and memory cards. My intuition told me that this video would be extremely valuable later on. After the strong winds passed, a large notice appeared on the community bulletin board. It read, "On date, due to the strong wind, my son was severely injured while saving a little girl who was crushed by a signboard. The surveillance cameras in the area were damaged by the wind, so there is no video evidence. The insurance company used the Meteorological Center's hazardous weather warning as an excuse, claiming my son deliberately fabricated the incident to defraud the insurance. We are an ordinary family and have spent almost all of our savings to save our son. If anyone can provide evidence, I am willing to trade my apartment for it." The sincere letter moved many people standing around the bulletin board to tears. The letter was accompanied by a photo and biography of her son, Daniel, a freshman sports major who had won numerous awards. His life had only just begun, yet now, after being hit in the back by the signboard, he faced the risk of paralysis. I felt an overwhelming bitterness. Back home, I pretended to casually bring up the recent incident. At the dinner table, Vivian's hand holding her chopsticks clearly paused, but then she acted as if nothing happened, continuing to eat as usual. It was just a natural disaster. What could anyone do? She scoffed. Vivian, don't let people like that deceive you. What if they're deliberately trying to evoke sympathy to solicit donations? Who in this neighborhood is truly poor? If they're genuinely poor, they should sell their house. I was dumbfounded, unable to believe she could utter such words. Do you really think that? I asked. Vivian glanced at me. Of course. Oh, well then, I thought, just wait and see how she brings herself to ruin. I noted down the phone number from the bulletin board, used a secondary account to befriend Mrs. Thompson, and sent the edited video to Daniel's mother. The video was very clear, and the conversation between Vivian and Lily was distinct. When Vivian forcefully shoved Lily, the child was swept by the wind, fell to the ground, and rolled directly towards the swaying signboard. Just then, a figure dashed out. No wonder I, too, had thought no one could save Lily in time, yet she was saved. Daniel reacted incredibly quickly, reaching Lily in just a few steps and shielding her with his body. Lily's cries and his defiant shouts rang out simultaneously, while Vivian calmly walked over, picked Lily up, and headed back as if nothing had happened. Mrs. Thompson was extremely grateful to me. With a few subtle suggestions, she immediately posted the video online. It was a season of strong winds, and related topics were very popular on WO. I noticed her social circle had a lot of media content, suggesting she worked in the industry. With her media push, the video quickly rose to the top of search trends. The comment section immediately erupted. Is there really a mother like that? Too terrifying. Pushing her child out in such strong winds is no different from murder. As a mother watching this video, I had to pause it many times and cried countless tears. There are 2 children in the video, both broke my heart. One was pushed away by her own mother, and the other risked his life to save someone but received no gratitude. Mrs. Thompson also uploaded information about Daniel's sports awards and athlete certifications, making the incident even more sensational. As the incident spread rapidly, someone followed clues in the video to find Vivian's address and personal information. Comments poured in. I know she previously brought her child to my hospital, after taking her swimming in dirty water, which caused her to contract vaginitis. Does she hate her own child? Children in the neighborhood were once sunbathed by her at midday, and now they have severe myopia. The more people spoke up, the wider the incident spread. Many in the neighborhood also saw these comments. When Vivian took Lily to the market, she was constantly pointed at and whispered about by others. Following behind, I saw Mrs. Thompson run over and block Vivian. "You truly have no conscience," Mrs. Thompson yelled. "My son saved your daughter's life, yet you refuse to tell the truth and won't help us even a little to lessen our burden. Is this how you behave as a human being?" Vivian's face went blank as if she knew nothing. But standing behind her, I clearly saw her hand was slightly trembling. "What does that have to do with me? Your son rushed out to save someone on his own. If he meddled, he deserves what he got." Hearing this, Mrs. Thompson grew even angrier, lunged at Vivian, grabbed her hair, and pushed her to the ground. "Say that again? My son is still in the hospital, his fate uncertain. I'm not asking you for money, but what right do you have to accept our family's kindness without showing gratitude? Do you deserve to be called a human being? In the video, you yourself pushed your daughter out into the street, and you didn't even intend to save her when the signboard was about to fall on her. I ask you honestly, is that child truly your biological daughter?" The shout drew the attention of many bystanders. Vivian began to panic. "What nonsense are you talking about? Why wouldn't she be my child? I carried her for 9 months and gave birth to her." Mrs. Thompson immediately detected a tremor in Vivian's voice and pressed closer, step by step. "Is that so? Then why did you leave a newborn to sunbathe until she developed severe myopia? Why did you take a little girl swimming in dirty water, causing her to contract vaginitis? And why did you let her be crushed by a signboard without a shred of concern?" Vivian's face instantly drained from pink to ashen white, and her voice lost its assertiveness. "What does that have to do with you? Are you crazy?" With that, she pulled Lily's hand, intending to leave the scene, but Mrs. Thompson immediately blocked her way. "If you don't explain yourself clearly, I will report you for child abuse." Vivian was extremely annoyed, trying to pull free, but Mrs. Thompson had great strength, remained unaffected, and held Vivian firmly. A resounding slap landed on Vivian's face, leaving her dazed, clutching her swollen, red cheek, unable to utter a word. In truth, Mrs. Thompson already knew everything because I had told her. I also knew very well that the person who would expose the full truth would arrive soon. She was just helping me buy time. Sure enough, as the two women struggled, a man rushed forward. He forcefully pulled Vivian away from Mrs. Thompson's grasp. Vivian's face lit up with joy when she recognized the newcomer. "Husband, you've come to save me. This woman keeps asking strange questions and even hit me." Before she could finish, Ethan, in an extreme rage, grabbed her hair and pushed her straight to the ground. Before Vivian could react, Ethan delivered a powerful kick to her stomach. "Ah!" Vivian screamed in pain. Many bystanders tried to intervene but were pushed aside by Ethan. "Damn you!" he roared. "How dare you cheat on me and then try to stage an accident to kill Lily, getting rid of all evidence so no one would suspect her parentage, right?" As this sentence escaped his lips, everyone was stunned, and a shiver ran down each person's spine. No wonder Vivian's actions never seemed like those of a mother. It turned out she genuinely wanted to kill my niece. All that had transpired was due to my private investigator's findings. Vivian had gotten pregnant before marriage and hastily married into our family. I had my suspicions, but Grandma Rose was eager for a grandchild, and Ethan was blinded by love, so all doubts were cast aside. But Vivian knew that one day the truth about the child would be revealed, and she also considered Grandma Rose's preference for sons over daughters. She decided to get rid of Lily, making this thorn in her side disappear, and then try to have a son. At this moment, Ethan was completely deaf to anyone's words, continuously punching and kicking as if wanting to kill Vivian in front of everyone. I rushed forward to stop him. If Vivian were truly beaten to death, Ethan would go to prison, and she wouldn't be charged with child abuse. I couldn't let her escape so easily. Someone had already called the police, and bystanders also pulled Ethan away. After DNA testing, everything finally came to light. All of Vivian's acts of cruelty towards Lily had clear evidence. The charge of child abuse was confirmed. Grandma Rose, out of pity for Lily, wanted to keep her, intending to return her to Vivian after she was released from prison. But with my strong persuasion, Lily was finally placed in a social welfare center. Everything finally came to an end. The whole family returned to peace. Even better news, Daniel, the boy who saved Lily, had also recovered and returned to school. When his mother sent me a photo of him being discharged from the hospital, I was in a job interview at a new company. In the photo, they smiled radiantly, as if ready to embrace a bright tomorrow.